So, I suppose I did promise this video like a year ago, a year and a half ago. I don't know how long ago that was. Probably a long time ago. Anyway, but I said I'd do the Minor Nation premium planes, and now that I just have the time to, I may as well. So, we'll get right into it, starting with the Spitfire. The Spitfire gets a decent payload, or decent. I say decent. It's pretty okay. It's nothing I wouldn't. I take it into ground RB, but it's not something I consistently use if I had something that was just better. Like, I don't really even know what would be better. Now, if I remember correctly, I bought this plane for $37. Um, I don't know what the USD is. Maybe I'll search it up. Maybe, I don't know. But this Spitfire was flown by the President of Israel, I believe it was, or something similar to that. I actually can't remember, but yeah, it's a special Spitfire with a cool skin. Okay ground attacking, I guess. You get the 20 mils and you get 50 cows. You get 50 cows. So it's actually a really good air combat plane. Obviously, being a Spitfire, it turns fairly well. You get bombs, and I don't know if these are heat rockets or the AP rockets similar to the British ones, but from experience, and I say experience, but I've like had very limited experience with this, but I believe they're pretty good, and obviously bombs are always pretty good to just have on any sort of plane. I believe they're only 500 pounds, so what, like 250 kilos, something like that. Nothing too special. But if I can aim here, yeah, which I can't. Oh, I believe these heat rockets have like 400 mils a pen. If I was looking at the stat card like 2 seconds prior, probably should check these things, but you know, I'm me. They do fire off at the same time, and I'm also just not knowing how to fly it. Definitely worth buying if you want to grind out the first and second rank, or sorry, the fourth and fifth rank of Israel. But it's not something that you might desperately need. On to the F-84. Now the F-84 gets custom loadouts, so that's pretty cool. You get a range of HVAR rockets, 2,000-pound bombs, Mighty Mouse rockets, and bombs. Still kind of not too sure why it gives you these presets, but it's fine. Usually, okay, hang on, let me read it there. I'm not too sure why it still gives you mixed presets, because although a lot of the other planes that have custom secondary layouts just don't, they just give you all the same weapon along, but this is pretty interesting. I think it's just because it's a premium, they want people to, you know, when you test fly, you can't actually make it, so, we'll take it out with we'll go the 2,000-pound bombs and the rockets, and I guess ground targets. Now, with my very limited experience with the American F-84, F-A4F, I should say, they're not too bad for what they're actually designed for, which is ground attacking. They don't like to turn very well. Like I said, this is my experience. I haven't played a lot of the F-A4F. One thing I do know is that their takeoff runs are way more longer than what your regular F-A4s are. Now, I'm not too sure about this one, but I know the normal F-84, like, B and G, the straight-winged ones, I know they get an air spawn. Again, not too sure about this one since I very rarely played it. The top speed on this English, the top speed on this F-84 is a lot higher than what it is on the regular F-84 due to the swept wing, which is just kind of a given. It gets good payload, and I'm not too sure, does this get a CCIP or not? I'll double check that after to do it, and then I'll just add it into the edit. You get a gun radar. I've never really gotten the purpose of these, besides I know with the Kafir, which one is it? One of the ones, it's the C2, I think. You can you can use the AIM-9Gs, and they can radar slave to it somehow, because that's useful in some sort of universe. But yeah, doesn't seem like you get a CCIP, which is kind of sad. Like, obviously, I know this is like a 60s plane, but I thought I heard some of these have a Boeing computer. And sorry, I've noticed recently a lot the rockets seem to come out the pods a lot. It happens on my A1H as well, so I find that pretty funny. But yeah, you get a decent amount of rockets, and yeah, the Mighty Mouse rockets are pretty good if you just want to take a lot of something. I tend to take the Mighty Mouses with my A1H, and I do pretty well with them, so I'm pretty sure a person who knows what they're doing. Oh yeah, and obviously you get the 50 cals, which are only the M3s, and I'm not a massive fan of the M3s. I kind of prefer the M2s just because they've got more of a hit. But the M3s will still do fine for light tanks and obviously SBA. Not too sure how much pen. I'll probably also just add that quickly into the stat card, but yeah. So I'd say the FA4, if you're gonna buy it on sale. But I wouldn't recommend just like buying it to grind out something. Actually, no, sorry, I take that back. The FA4 would be good because it has bombs to grind out, but if you're taking this purely for like a fighter, because you want a cool jet, I wouldn't suggest it, just because it doesn't turn very well, doesn't hold its energy very well. It has a good high speed, but that's really about it. You'll easily get outmatched by a lot of your opponents at 8.3, such as the, let me just double check, let me think about what's its BR. Things like the MiG-15s will absolutely be all over your ass, the MiG-17s as well, if you ever come across those. Same with Sabres, they'll definitely, they'll give you a run for your money, but they will, I don't know about outperforming you entirely. You'll probably definitely roll better than most of the jets here, but roll's not gonna really help you a lot unless you like cancel roll, but this thing just doesn't want to cancel roll, it seems. But yeah, I'd say don't bother buying this just because it's so, I don't know, so slow is what I'd call it. Now we have the A4. Now this used to be called the A4 Late to my memory. I don't know when that changed, but that is it's kind of strange. The A4 is obviously a really good strike aircraft, really good for 8.7 as well. If I quickly go into its secondary weapons, you can see we get AIM-9Bs, which are just your average ground attack missile, anyway, missile, pulls 10 Gs, it's like okay for 8.7. You also get the GBU-8 and the AGM-62s, and unlike the regular American A4E early, the AIM-9Bs and the Walleyes are on separate pylons, so you can carry both of them at the same time rather than one or the other. So I think we'll take it out with the Walleyes just to kind of show you what they're like. From what I'm reading, now, I was gonna say this right, I have not test flown this vehicle since the Israel had the Sands of Sinai test flight map, so forgive me if I'm a bit rusted the A4s. Now, according to the Wikipedia that I have next to me, it doesn't get a CCIP for its guns, which kind of surprised me when I think about it. So, wait, let me just double check. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I keep accidentally hitting the wrong button here. But, so yeah, as you can see, it doesn't have a ballistic commute for its cannon. Do you know what I was going to say there? But it gets a CCRP for its bombs, but no CCIP, so I'm pretty sure CCRP is the guided line. I'm not entirely sure how to use that. I often don't use it. I don't know why. I probably should definitely learn how to use it, considering that I am a kind of a plain guy when it comes to War Thunder. But yeah, the Walleyes are pretty good. I'm pretty sure they can track moving targets, and okay, my button just didn't want to work there. That's pretty epic as usual. Is it this one? There we go. As you can see, the Walleye will just track to its thing, so this is really good for ground RB and air RB. I guess it can be pretty good. Do keep in mind, obviously, it's not a rocket, it's a bomb, so the flight distance completely depends on how fast you're going. So you can't just like expect it to go 5 kilometers if you're traveling at 200k an hour. It'll definitely fall before that. And that also just depends on its altitude as well, I guess. Because they can glide pretty well. Like, if I just drop it here, that should be a lot better of a track, unless, okay, I don't know what it was doing there. That should still kill the, yeah. But yeah, the A4 is an okay dogfighter. This one obviously gets flares, so does the other A4, which I'm happy about. This one gets the Defa cannons, yep, which are way better than the 20 mils on the American version. This one can carry more fuel because of that large hump on the back, and I think that's about it. Besides, obviously, you get flaps and everything. This turns a lot better than the American one, and also I believe the engine is different. I think it's got more, I was gonna say more horsepower, more thrust to it, but I'll have to double check that and also edit that in later on. But anyway, I would say this would definitely be a buy for me, just because of its ability for ground striking, and it'd also be a pretty good grinder for the Israel tech tree. And also just the ability for me, like me personally, having the ability to carry AIM-9Bs and walleyes plus a GBU-8, I'm pretty sure, if that doesn't like go up of its weight restriction thing, that would be absolutely amazing, because that's what I wanted with my A4, but it just doesn't have any of those abilities, so kind of sad about that, but at least the Israel one gets it. So yeah, I'd say definitely buy this one if you want to, if you can, even, because it's definitely worth the money. Okay, so this is the Kafir Canal. The Americans had it under the designation of F-21A, and they use it for aggressor aircraft for the F-15s, because they had similar flight performance to the MiG-23s, because, fun fact, the MiG-23s were in service at around the same time as the F-15A. So that was pretty cool. For secondary weapons, you get AIM-9Gs with a bunch of different things. This is just a multi-purpose weapon because, once again, premium vehicle, they want you to be able to test all these words out. It does get custom secondary weapons, so just keep your mind on that. We will carry, I think this one's, I'm not too sure if you can drop these drop tanks now, but I believe you can. But let's take the AIM-9Gs and then this. And if we can't drop the drop tanks, well, that's a shame. They were replaced by F-5Es as they came into the Navy's hands after the USAF were done with them, or something like that. I'm probably wrong with that, but it just says here when the F-5E was put into service, and I assume that they mean when the USAF stopped using them, that they were put into this, but I could be wrong. So you see there, this is what I was talking about, sorry, earlier, the gun radar, being able to use the AIM-9Gs to radar slave, which I find pretty interesting, considering that as far as I have learned, the gun is, the radar thing is to like change the gun distance or something like that. I honestly can't remember, but I'll show you here. I'll be off bore slightly here, and I'll just, yeah, see, I can lock them there, even though I shouldn't be, but anyway. There goes half my bombs apparently. And the AIM-9Gs have an incredibly long burn distance, so you'll never be, you always have a good control of the skies with this thing because of the AIM-9Gs. And it's got amazing performance. A video I'd recommend if you can't be fucked watching the rest of this one because my boring ass talking voice like does a lot. Go watch Spitfire's video recently. He made one on the Kafir C7, I believe, saying how he was like wrong about a bunch of stuff. The Kafirs do have insane flight performance, and it's because they're based on the Mirage 5, and then I think they chucked a J79 engine, which is a same engine that's used in the Phantom, but this one has like more power or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what the story there is, but yeah. It's definitely a good ground attack because you get a large variety of bombs and shit. Just be known that if you do get them, at the moment you can't drop the fuel tanks that they come on with, so it's a bit of a shame there. But yeah, like I said, you get 2 AIM-9Gs, turns extremely well, and you can sustain these turns for a little bit. And it's also got really good energy retention due to just being a massive, or one massive engine that produces heaps of energy. Just be warned though, because you are still a Delta Wing, you will bleed a lot of energy. But if you can, you'll gain that energy back fairly quickly. I lost my words again. But that will conclude Israel. And we'll also actually conclude the video. I do have the second part for Sweden recorded. However, that would make this video too long. So you're gonna have to wait a little bit, maybe like next week at most, for the Swedish part of this video. But hey, it's a part 2. Hope you enjoyed it. Sweden will still be a bit stuttery, but hopefully by Italy and France, I won't be as stuttery. I'll actually like maybe do some research before I say shit. But hey, it's fine. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave feedback in the comments. It always works. But thanks.